Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Budget with Bliss. My name is Katie and this channel is all about keeping myself accountable for my budget and finances by using the cash stuffing method and creating general financial well-being. I hope you're all doing well and I hope you're having a great day. I am today going to be answering the questions that you guys have put to me via YouTube or Instagram when I popped up a post a few weeks ago. It was now just asking you to ask me anything, basically, giving you the opportunity to ask me anything about my budget, finances, life, anything really. So I have written down all of the questions and all of your tags on my little notepad here, and we will go through the questions and I'll answer them as honestly and openly as I can. So yeah, let's get into it. I hope you're getting ready for Christmas. I've got my Christmas gonk top on today. Filming a few videos, so you might see this again. But yeah, let's just go straight into it. So the first question was on Instagram and it's from Heyladybudget. And they ask, do you openly share with your family and friends your cash stuffing? If so, how do you explain your binders? So yeah, like my close family and friends know that I cash stuff because all of a sudden I changed from spending on card to always bringing cash when I go out with my friends and things like that. And also my mum got me into cash stuffing, which is one of the questions that a few people asked actually. So my mum already does it and my sister lives with my mum, so she knows that she does it. And my brother-in-law, that they know about my YouTube channel, so I'm quite open with it really. I don't discuss, I don't tell acquaintances and things like that really. It is just like close friends and family that do know. And in terms of how do you explain your binders? My binders are kind of kept away. They only come out for filming and stuffing, so they wouldn't kind of see them anyway if they come around my house. They're not out on display or anything like that. So yeah, this is my kitchen worktop, so I set up for filming and then it all gets cleared away and put away safely. So yeah, I don't really have to explain that. But yeah, some people don't share that they do cash stuffing, which is fine, up to everyone what they do and don't do. But I think for some of my friends and that, when I've talked about, we talk about money sometimes, just generally day to day and that, and I've shared the method just to help others find out about this method and how, just kind of explain how it's changed my financial circumstances for the better and how it might work for them. A lot of people haven't, I don't think anyone else I really kind of know does cash stuffing, maybe one or two, but not like I do anyway, I don't think. And people are just stuck in their ways, which is fine. And also people prefer digital these days as well. A lot of people don't take cash, so that is something to consider. But yeah, I'm quite open with it really. Just only close friends and family. But yeah, right, next question. This is again from Instagram. This is from budgeting_bird2. And there's a little asterisk here, which means more than one person asked this question. So let me just find out who else it was. So we've got budgetingbird2 and a day full of budgets on YouTube, and also Maisie Small 3471 on YouTube. All asked various versions of this. I will read out their full questions later on, but as I was kind of writing them down, I was like, actually these were all asked similar things. So budgetingbird_2 asked, what prompted you to start cash stuffing? And yeah, as I kind of briefly said, my mum started watching it on YouTube and then she got herself a setup, and then she used to come and stay around mine every weekend when she worked down near where I live, and we would sit and watch cash stuffing videos. And yeah, I just kind of got hooked on the idea of being able to manage my money that way. Like my journey at the beginning was watching like Budget with Kerry, Rainbow Budgets and Plans, Pounds of Potential, and just watching them and their journeys and how they would save with savings challenges and seeing all the money kind of stashed in the binders. And I was thinking, I want me some of that. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into cash stuffing. My mum showed me the way, and then I've been hooked ever since, really. And that is now over 2 years ago. So yeah, I love it. I would never go back to just kind of doing digital or anything like that, because this is the most sound my finances have ever been, ever. I never ever used to have savings. Like, I'd spend my money every month. I'd find something to spend it on, you know? So yeah. And I also wanted to get debt free as well. At that point, I had a car loan that I was adamant I would pay it off within like 2 years or whatever, but I didn't. It did take me 3.5 in the end, and I only kind of really started to snowball that from cash stuffing. So yeah, just wanted to make my financial future much, much better. Okay, so on YouTube, Girl Please Budget asked, "Hello lovely, I'd like to see how you work your monthly budget into weekly, etc., and how you set your goals to reflect in this, as you always smash this." Just realised this wasn't just one question, lol. So I might do a separate video on how I do my budget. But essentially, the breakdown is I look at obviously what money is coming in. So my salary comes in on the 23rd of each month, and I make sure all of my direct debits come out as close to the 23rd as they possibly can. And I will take off all of the house bills, like mobile phone, what else do I pay for? Life insurance. I can't remember what else I pay for. Like my Pulse subscription. I hate that when mine just goes completely blank. But basically, I have a list of direct debits and standing orders that go out when I get paid. They have to be paid, like regardless of whatever else is happening in the month. Those are my priority. So I make sure that they are paid first before I even consider doing any cash stuffing. If, for instance, like, I don't know, my pay was halved or something and I had to live off half of what I get, those would be my priorities. Make sure I've got food, water, travel, and a home, basically. Those are my absolute priorities. Those are things that I will never not pay. And yeah, those are the priority before it even gets to withdrawing any cash and filling any of these envelopes. So once all of that has kind of come off of the amount that I get paid, what I've got left is what I will then look at cash stuffing. So I will then work out how many weeks there are in the month, roughly divide it between what's left, divide that number between those weeks. So normally it's around 200, 250 a week, maybe sometimes more. And then I look at what my plans are coming up in like a full calendar year, and also look at annual bills like MOT, tax, car insurance, things like that need to be paid for every year, and incorporate that into every weekly budget. Really, that's the idea, so that I can get myself ahead and get saving and yeah, I'm just always kind of now looking towards the future, of how my money can have its own little place every month. Everything is budgeted for, like, in terms of my income. I go to like a zero budget pretty much. I have a little buffer in the bank, but not a lot really. Because if my money does not have a purpose and it does not have a place, I spend it. Like, I absolutely just want to blow it. I need something in my head that gives me a reason to keep hold of this money and not spend it, if that makes sense. Because if it's just sat there and I don't have a reason for it to be there, my mind is just like, oh, well, yeah, I can afford that. I can just pay for that. I'll just buy that. I'll just do this. I'll just get those tickets here, there, and everywhere. And then I've got nothing left. And then I'll be like thinking about next month and like, oh my God, the car insurance is due. I need £500. And then that'll be gone. And then I'm back to square one and back to like no money. Like, that's kind of how it used to be, like paycheck to paycheck. So yeah, I've just got a new budget planner. So let me show you it. You've probably already seen it. It's from Natalie at Rainbow Budgets and Plans. So this is it here. Look at it, it's gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And I might film myself budgeting in it. Look at it, oh, it's knocking everything over, but I might start doing that. So there's like the bill tracker. So you put on your income, put all your fixed expenses. This is where all my direct debits and stuff will go. Variable expenses, so that'll be like my events and I don't know, other bits and bobs that I want to save for. And then annual savings, that'll be like car tax, MOT. And then variable savings, that'll be like long-term savings. Although there's long-term savings box here actually. So maybe this will be events. I'll go through it all like when I've kind of sussed out what I need to do and that. But yeah, I'm thinking that's what I might do in the future. So if you're interested in me kind of doing that, I've never shared really what my budget is and my income is before on this channel, but you can probably roughly guess by my check-ins anyway. So yeah, and in terms of how I set my goals to reflect in my budget, what I do is I'm always kind of looking at what's coming up. So particularly this time of year, December, I will write out a list. Like, I'll write January through down to December, and I'll be like, right, January, I've got this birthday coming up. February, we've got Valentine's Day, we've got this birthday coming up. March, we've got a gig, we've got a break away. April, we've got birthdays, we've got a wedding, all this kind of stuff. I will list it all throughout the year, give myself a rough budget for what I want for each of those events and trips or whatever. And then I'll kind of calculate how many weeks I've got left, or months or paydays, to pay for it and make sure I've got the right amount of money I need. And that's how I kind of work it out. And then I'll allocate a savings challenge towards each event so that I save the amount that I need as well. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's basically what I do. Just break it all down. It is forecasting a lot, like for 12 months, but if I don't prepare, then I will get behind, or just be like, I'll get paid one month and be like, oh my God, I need to just spend all that money on that one thing. And we don't progress with long-term savings and things like that. So yeah, that's how I do that. Okay, so on YouTube, Josh Jayy-Rivera asked, what advice would you give to people who've never tried this method before but would like to? Okay, so if you've never tried it before, my advice would be to just start. And don't worry if you need to change up your setup, your method, your time frame of your budgeting, or anything like that. Don't be afraid of change, because it's going to take a while to work out what works for you and how you can keep motivated. That's when I started cash stuffing. I was doing it monthly. I'd get paid, take out all my money, put it in the envelopes, and then I would be absolutely gagging to cash stuff before the next month come along. So then I started to change to weekly, and that feels so much more better for me. It also gives me a moment every single week where I'm checking in with my finances. So yeah, just play around with the idea. I would also keep a list of your budget. I always look at, oh my god, my other half's just started hoovering. Just got a new hoover. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Literally come from Amazon today, the hoover. We're so excited to use it, and there he is upstairs using it. So yeah, that would be my bit of advice, is write out a budget. Write out what categories you want, what things you want to save for, what things you need to budget for every month. A list of things you need, that you need every single year that comes up like clockwork: car insurance, tax, service, MOT, all that kind of jazz. And then work it into your cash stuffing. But yeah, just give yourself some grace, basically. Okay, we've got on Instagram, GroundedBudgets. Do you have any big financial goals 5 years plus, or are you taking it more a day or a year at a time? So the only big really kind of financial goal I have got at the moment is to finish the 6K challenge that we have from Budget with Ira. And also, it's more than one, isn't it? Also, I want to complete the Minesweeper challenge, so I've got a bit of a fuck it fund if I see something I want, or gig tickets and things like that go up, and I want to be able to buy them without having to use my credit card, because that is what I'm doing at the moment, and it doesn't sit right with me doing that, like, even though I literally done it like a week ago. But yeah, those are my kind of goals at the moment, just to build up my funds, build up my savings. So I've got a really good emergency fund. So I've got that pot of money where I can just blow it if I really, really want to. I do worry that once I finish that challenge, though, I will just blow it immediately. Because like I said, though, if it hasn't got a purpose and a place, my mind thinks it's there for the taking. So we'll see how that goes. But it's better than using a credit card, I think, for sure. But yeah, other financial goals would be to overpay on our mortgage, which we are doing at the moment. We have been doing it pretty much since we got our house, which was 2.5 years ago now. We have slightly changed how we're doing that. I think I did mention it on a video a really long time ago, that initially we would overpay by £300 a month in our normal monthly direct debit. Then interest rates started to go up, so we decided we would split that payment. So 150 is still on the direct debit, additional payment to the mortgage, which is great. And then the other 150, I've got a 6% savings account. So that 150 goes in there every month, and is earning a decent amount of interest. So it'll earn more interest than what we're getting charged by our mortgage, because our mortgage is at 2.14%. We were we locked in way before the interest rates started to go up, so we were lucky, and we've got another 2.5 years of that. So yeah, and that's how we're doing that. So we'll earn more interest on our savings in that savings account than we would by putting it onto the mortgage. So that's why we kind of split it. So we still see it go down a bit quicker, which is really encouraging and motivating, but we're also seeing a nice big chunk of interest every single month in that savings pot. So yeah, those are kind of the biggest kind of financial goals that I have at the moment. So let's go over to the other page. Thank you for your question. Let me cover these up. Okay, YouTube, we've got Amber Lovelock 6475. How did you find cash stuffing with a mortgage? We are looking to move out and wondering how you can still save while paying for a mortgage every month. Love your videos. Thank you so much, Amber. So I've only ever cash stuffed with a mortgage. So I don't know what it's like going from rent to mortgage, but in my head, whether you're paying for your rent or mortgage, you're paying for a home, you're paying for your house. Like, doesn't matter if it's rent or mortgage, you're paying for a property, and a roof over your head. So I would say it doesn't change much because you'd be paying rent anyway. Unless you're kind of asking me whether or not you're trying to save for a deposit. And even then, you could just do that with cash stuffing and savings challenges. You can still save or still pay for a mortgage. Or is your mortgage going to be much, much more than what you're paying for rent? It's all about the budget, really. There is no cash stuffing for me without a budget. You need to look at your incomings, you need to look at your outgoings, and anything that you've got left after all of your bills, your direct debits, the stuff that keeps the roof over your head, you know, your food, your water, electric, all that kind of stuff. That's what you cash stuff at the end. That's what I do anyway. That's how I do it. So yeah, I can't really give any more advice on that, I don't think, because yeah, like I say, I've had a mortgage the whole time I've been cash stuffing, and it's not really made a difference, I don't think. Anyway, but yeah, like I say, if it wasn't a mortgage, it would be rent payment. But yeah, it's always the leftover money that I cash stuff after rent, electric, gas, all that jazz. Okay, so on YouTube, from A Day Full of Budgets, they asked what made you cash stuffing. So yeah, we already kind of asked that. That'd be Mummy Bliss. And on YouTube, the lovely Jayy-Budgets 20203, well, you know who Gillian is. She asked, I've got more than one... lol. Oh, question. I couldn't read my writing there. I've got more than one, lol. Is there anything you would change if you had to start from again? And what was your relationship with money before you started this method? And what's been your greatest achievement since cash stuffing? Okay, that is a lot of questions. So let's go back to the first one. Is there anything you would change if you had to start again? Would there be anything I would change? You know what? Probably not, because everything that I have done today has led me to where I am now, and I am feeling like really happy and accomplished with where I am at. If I really had to think of one thing, it would be that I'd closed my credit cards ages ago. I still got them and I still use them. Really winds me up. So I only got myself to blame. But maybe that is the only thing. I pay them off every month, so it's not like I've got loads of credit card debt. They go to zero as soon as I get paid. Again, I include those payments in the budget, and after they've been paid, what is left, it goes into cash stuffing. So yeah, that is the only thing I think maybe I would change. But everything else, like my finances have just got stronger and stronger since starting this method. So all of the changes I've made across, like throughout the journey and things like that, have led me to where I am now. So yeah, and I guess another thing would be if I could start it earlier. That would have been great. Maybe start it in my early 20s. That would have been fabulous. Imagine where I could have been by then. But yeah. What was your relationship with money before you started this method? So before I started this method, it's a tricky one. So I would say prior to COVID, actually, is where my kind of shift really happened. Prior to COVID, I had thousands of pounds of credit card debt. I was obsessed with buying stuff. Have you heard of the shoes Irregular Choice? If you've heard of the shoe brand Irregular Choice, you know what I'm talking about. I had like not an addiction, but a big collection of Irregular Choice shoes. They were like £100 a pop. I had over 35 pairs at one point. Who needs that many shoes that I cannot walk in? Like, I'm nearly 6 foot tall. None of my boyfriends are like, have been much taller than me. So I could never wear them. They were just like pretty things that sat in a box for months and months. And I was obsessed with makeup. I was just very materialistic back then. But we're talking like, I was in my 20s, you know, you get a job, you get your money and all that kind of stuff. And then someone taught me about credit cards and how I could get a 0% credit card for like a year where I haven't got to pay any interest on it. So I would just load them up. At one point, I think I had about four. I think I had around, at the worst, around about £7,000 worth of credit card debt. And I didn't really have anything to show for it back then. I didn't have my own property. I was renting a room in a house, or I had moved back to my mum's. I bought a car on a loan as well, so I had that to pay off. And it just felt like whenever I had money, I just had to spend it. And more, obviously, with the credit card. So my relationship with money wasn't great back then. But when COVID hit, I had the opportunity to pay off all my credit cards. So I was already in the process of doing that. I had started to kind of knuckle down anyway, and get them paid off. But COVID gave me the opportunity to do that rapidly. So it only took me like a few months of staying at home doing nothing, and I had got rid of my credit card debt. So that was great. And then I think because I started to see that I had money left over, and I started to build up just a little bit of savings here and there, I got a bit more sensible. And also my partner's quite sensible with his money. So I started to learn a little bit from him. And then I bought a car on loan. I decided during COVID, because I lived quite a long distance away from my partner, I didn't want to use public transport and risk getting COVID. So I decided that I could afford to buy a car and pay the monthly payments. Like, that it wasn't too expensive. The monthly payments, that is. And the idea was, because I paid off my credit card so quickly, I could pay off the car loan really quickly as well, couldn't I? So yeah, I was just continue to take out more debt really, instead of building up my own finances and being in a strong position that way, I was taking out more debt than making myself more financially secure back then. I didn't really kind of realize that I shouldn't be using debt. I shouldn't be using credit cards. I shouldn't be buying cars on loans and things like that, because I'm doing that because I can't afford them. If I can't afford them, then I shouldn't have them. That's more of my thinking now, even though I obviously do say that I buy stuff on credit cards, but I always pay it off. So that is me trying to justify that. But yeah, I fell into a lot of Dave Ramsey as well, watching a lot of his podcasts and not podcasts, but his radio shows on YouTube, and kind of getting along with that principle of, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Don't go into debt to buy something just to impress people that you don't like with stuff that you don't need. So yeah, that was kind of where I was at and how I kind of moved into where I am now. And Gillian also asked, what's been your greatest achievement since cash stuffing? I think paying off my car loan has been the biggest achievement. So that is what I achieved earlier this year. So I paid it off like a whole year and a half earlier than the term was for. So it was a 5-year loan that I had, but yeah, paid it off in 3.5. And my next kind of greatest achievement is the 6K challenge. This is the biggest savings I've ever tried to build for myself. Actually, no, I take that back. My deposit for my house, that was the next thing I looked at doing. Once I paid off the credit cards, I popped more money into my lifetime ISA so I could get a deposit for a house. So actually, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, I managed to, my deposit was, what I paid towards our deposit was £13,000, which again, I managed to save the majority of that during COVID, those 1 or 2 years. So instead of like saving that and buying a car outright, I saved it towards a house and then got the car on a loan. Like, oh dear. But yeah, those are my kind of biggest achievements. And Maisie Small 3471 asks, hello, I'm a new sub. I've recently been expanding my cash stuffing to suit our lifestyle and budget. What made you start cash stuffing and how did you start from scratch? Did you filter bits in or go the full whack? So I think I've maybe covered most of these. So how I started cash stuffing, that was my mum. She led me onto YouTube and things like that. And then I just kind of dived in. So how did I start from scratch? So I started, I literally bought a binder off of Amazon. I think this one was the first binder I ever bought off of Amazon. And it came with a few different zipper envelopes, and you get like the stickers to stick on labels. Then they're pre-made like labels for you, so you can't choose what they are on that. And then I very quickly got a second binder because I realised there's more categories that I wanted. And yeah, again, how did I start from scratch? Again, it is all, the budget is the main thing. Which is really should be doing budgets on this channel, because the cash stuffing is the fun stuff. But before you get to the fun stuff, you have to do the serious stuff with the budget, and you have to tell your money what to do, where to go, and how it so it can serve you well. So yeah, it was definitely filtering bits in here and there in terms of working out what categories I wanted, where I wanted my money to go and things like that. It's continuously evolving, this method for me. I'm always kind of changing things up, moving challenges around and setting up new binders, because my brain needs categories for my money, so that I don't spend it. So yeah, it is a learning curve. So just do what kind of works for you. And like I said, I started by cash stuffing monthly, found that very quickly I wanted to cash stuff again, but I couldn't because the money had gone. And also by changing that then to weekly, it made me a bit more controlled with my money, because I was looking at the budget every week, my spending money, petrol money and stuff like that. Sorry, the sun is shining proper through. Petrol money and like spending money, stuff like that. I was spending more of it towards the beginning of the month, and then towards the end I was starting to run out. So by categorizing it, but splitting it weekly, making it a bit more even, a bit more regular intervals of stocking up those envelopes, just made me manage the money a bit more. So yeah, thank you for your question. Right, back to Instagram. The lovely My Money Matters with Est has asked a few different questions. Favorite takeaway. This is my bag. Food, guys. Love food. Favorite takeaway has got to be a Chinese, and it's got to be a Chinese from the town where I grew up, and because they have the most amazing gravy. Like, it's not Bisto, it's sweet and delicious and thick, and it just pour it all over everything, and oh, it's perfection. Dip a chip in it. Oh, beautiful. Literally my favourite thing. Fingers crossed I get to have one when I go back home for Christmas, but it could be a tandoori we're having instead, so we shall see. But yeah, that is my favourite. What's your favourite? What is your best budgeting advice? Again, I think my best budgeting advice is to have a budget, to make sure all of your essentials are covered before you even start to think about cash stuffing and savings challenges and stuff like that. The budget is where it's at, really. If you haven't got a budget, then you're probably going to end up slipping up somewhere. You might forget about something. Yeah, that's probably my best advice. What do you do for work? If you're allowed to answer. I am allowed, I think, but I just prefer not to. Just think people won't like me if they knew what I do for a job. So YouTube, the lovely Lucy Luxor, if you had to design a challenge, what would it be? So Lucy, if I had to design a challenge or a set of challenges, or if I ever decided to do an Etsy shop, which I never will because I'm the least creative person in the world and I just haven't got the patience for it, it would be probably music themed. So in terms of like a specific song with lyrics and bands and various, like, I feel like my whole collection would just be takes on different songs and different like choruses from songs, little lyrics and things like that, like that people know about, because I'm always singing. I've always got some music on normally. Music means a lot to me, as you may already know. So yeah, I think that's what it would be. Or mermaids. I love mermaids, so. Okay, YouTube, Cherry Blossom Budget has asked, what has been the biggest surprise that you didn't expect as a result of starting cash stuffing? If that makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Yes, it does. So biggest surprise as a result of cash stuffing. You know what? Probably the biggest thing that I didn't really expect is probably like the community. There are people that I speak to regularly. We've made friends and everyone is just so kind and generous and supportive, and it's just a really nice place to be. So it's not particularly a answer that relates to anything specific to like my budget and finances, but that is a result of starting the cash stuffing and particularly putting it out on YouTube and Instagram. It is definitely the community, like, and just how welcoming everybody is and friendly. It's a nice place to be. And we've got from Chantel Budgets on YouTube. Hey lovely, my question is, what do you do to keep yourself motivated on your budgeting journey? And that is the last question actually. So the things that keep me motivated are YouTube, filming. The reason I started the whole channel is to keep myself accountable. It definitely keeps me in check. It gives me a reason every week to check in with my budget, where I'm at, what I'm doing with my money, what needs to go where, making sure I'm on track, and also cash stuffing and doing like the totals every month, the condensing and count ups, seeing those numbers at the end of the month, whether or not it's gone up or down, but it doesn't really kind of matter. But it is motivating to see how my budget's changing, how we're progressing, how close we kind of get to savings challenges being done as well. Savings challenges are really motivating. If they're challenges that you enjoy, like they've got imagery that maybe you like, or if it's a dice challenge, it keeps you engaged, so you never really kind of know exactly what's going to happen each time, or if it's something that's just deadly aesthetically pleasing, like an iris binder, stuff like that. All of that kind of keeps me motivated. And also watching other YouTubers. Massive shout out again to Rainbow Budgets and Plans, Natalie, and congratulations on baby Pickle being born as well, by the way. Did see that on Instagram. She definitely was a big motivator for me to get kind of started back in the day. I say back in the day, like two and a bit years ago, when I first found cash stuffing and started watching other YouTubers. I find other people's journeys incredibly motivating, and watching Natalie with her budget planner and going through her finances and things like that, I just love it. Like, I just love that kind of content, and it makes me want to be like that, in terms of being really meticulous with incomings and outgoings, and just being really on top of your money. So those are the ways that I'm motivated on this budgeting journey. So yeah, that is all of the questions. Thank you ever so much to everybody who dropped me a question over on Instagram or YouTube. I mean, you do not have to wait for these kind of posts from me. You can ask me a question anytime, at any point. I will always try and get back to everybody. But yeah, I've rambled on now for 40 minutes. I knew this one was going to be a long one, but yeah, let me know how you feel about me maybe doing a budget with me video. I know they're generally not the most watched on other people's channels. I do watch budgeting videos though, because I don't know, there's something about numbers. Like, I'm just a number freak, and it'll help to keep me on track and up to date with my new budget planner. Sorry about the sun, it's really annoying me. But yeah, let me know if it's something you would like to see on my channel or not. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care guys, Merry Christmas.